All right, today we're going to learn about the golden altar. Huh? And so when you came into the holy temple, came in from the east, and this is the Holy of Holies here. Only the high priest would go in once a year. And this, we already finished learning about the menorah. And yesterday we learned about the face bread. And today we're going to learn about the golden altar. All these three, the menorah and the gold face bread and the golden altar, they were in, what's this? And they were in, can't do it. One second. Let's see if I can get rid of this here. Yes, no, I can't do it. Okay. They were in what's called the Heichal, the out part. It was also called the Ohel Moed, the place where God would speak to Moses. That was in the desert. The outer, this was 30 amas. This is where the ark was. Then there was a wall or a veil separate the Holy of Holies. Separate the Holy of Holies from the holy. The holy was also twice as big as this. The outer 30 almas was empty, except there were two tables over here. There were two tables. It's not pictured here. And that was to put the bread on from the. They would exchange the bread every Shabbat. They would bake it before Shabbat, and they would exchange the bread after the Musaf prayer of Shabbat. The Musaf offering, of Shabbat. They would change the bread from the old bread that was on the table. They would take it out and distribute it to the Kohanim, and the new bread they would put on. And there were two tables over here, which we're going to learn that from the Rambam. But here is the golden altar. Okay, the golden altar. And on the golden altar was offered up incense every day. Now, this is sort of, taken second place, because it's a different opinions what the main thing of the temple was. The Ramban says the main thing that it had the Reb Moses ben Nachman, that was the ark with the tablets in it. And Maimonides says the main thing was the outer altar. But really, this inner altar was tremendously important. First of all, it was in a straight line between the ark and the outer altar, straight line. It was right in the middle. Right. Secondly, it offered up on it incense. Now, the incense was the antidote to death. The incense, and it was made of special. It has 11 special ingredients, spices that were made in order to make the incense. And it said that the smell of it could be smelled like in Jericho, whatever it is, tremendously far away. The incense. And the coin, only one coin, a coin would only bring the incense, only a coin could do it. And when the coin actually put the incense on the coals, he could only do it once in his life. A coin would only, right? It was a whole order of how it was done. The incense was prepared, it was crushed in the beginning of the year, and then it was apportioned out. And it was apportioned out very exactly in vessels. And the coin that was going to do it would go in with his friends and his whatever to go in. And one of them would also bring coals, put it on the golden altar. That's here, the golden altar. Now, the golden altar was very small also, but we'll talk about that in a second. And he would put the coals on, and then they would all leave. Everyone would leave. And the one coin would be left. He would put the incense on the coals, and the smoke would come up. And a Kohen would only do this once in his lifetime. And they would decide who the Kohen was by throwing lots. So every day they would throw lots among the Kohanim. I don't remember how many participated in this, but only Kohanim that had never burned the incense before, never given out, they participated in this lottery. It was offered up once in the morning and once in the evening, near the end of the service, near the beginning of the service, when the lights were lit. Okay, that was the altar. Let's have a sort of a picture over here. I had a better picture before. 1 second. There we go. Stop share. Share here. There we go. See, the altar looks something like this. This is sort of an accurate picture. Something like this. It looked. A lot of these pictures are not accurate. For instance, here, the ark, the staves were on the short side, not on the long side. So I guess the table, the bread, this is totally wrong. It's totally like as we learned yesterday. But this is fairly accurate. Interestingly enough, this gold it was made of wood, but it was coated with gold, and coated with gold, and it was exact measurements. Everything was 2.5, 1.5. This was 2 amas high, 1 amma wide, 1 amma deep. That's all it was. And you saw where it was placed, where it was put. All right, let us stop the share. And let us read the Rambam over here. Maimonides. Okay. Now we're just finishing what we did yesterday. Yesterday we learned about the face spread. Remember, that's on the right side of the Heichal, it's called the holy, the right side. And that every Shabbat they would take this bread off and they would change it. They would make new bread before Shabbat, and then they would take the old bread off and put the new bread on. So there were 2 tables that were in the ulam, on the inside, and the entrance. One of them was made of the marble, and that would be put on the new bread before it was put on the table. And one of the tables was made of gold, and that was put on when they came out. So let's see where these 2 tables are. They were right here. Just one moment here. The 2 tables were here somewhere. I don't know if they have it listed over here. 1 second. There we go. Let's see. Are they listed over here? I don't think they are. They should have been. These tables should be over here somewhere. No, it doesn't seem that they've listed in this picture the 2 tables. Okay, but anyways, that's where they were. There were 2 tables somewhere in here. This is the ulam. Somewhere there were 2 tables. One was made of marble. That's the new bread the new 12 loaves of bread. Remember, we saw it yesterday that they were shaped sort of like U, the shape of a U. And they put the new loaves over here. The loaves were fairly large. And then there was one of gold where they would take off the bread that had been there for the full week. They would put that on the gold one. And they would take the bread from the marble one, from the marble table, and they would put it on the face bread. And that would be there the whole week. And the bread that they took off and put on the gold table, that they would distribute among the Kohanim. Oh, here we go. Rambam, Maimonides. There were 2 tables in the ulam, in that entrance, that pre-room we talked about. And one of them was made of marble. One of them, they put on this face bread that they were bringing in. And one of them was made with gold. That was for the bread that they took out from this 6-layer table. Remember we had? Why? Because Malim B'Kodesh V'lo Mordim. You always have to raise up in holiness and not bringing down. So they would take the loaves of bread and put them on the table, this table that had 6 layers. Remember, there were 2 rows, 6 layers each, and they would put the 12 loaves of bread on that. So that was taking from the mundane, so to speak, and making it holy, and putting it to gold. And the ones that they removed from the golden table, they would also put that on gold, because you don't bring down in holiness. Okay, now let's go to the incense table. Mizbeach Katorataya. There was a altar, a small altar for the incense. It was square, 1 amma by 1 amma, and we said before it was 2 ammas high. An amma is about 1.5 feet, something like that. So it was 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet, and it was 2 ammas high, which means it was about 3 feet, right? 3 feet high. This is in the heichal, in what was called the holy. I showed you where it is, right in the middle, between the north and the south. The north was the right side. That's where the table was with the 12 loaves of bread. And on the south side, that's where the menorah was. It says, but it was pulled out a little bit between this table of the bread and the menorah, pulled out. All three of them, they were in the third, the inner third of the heichal, of this heichal, inside, next to the parochet, next to the curtain that separated between the holy and the holy of holies. So the Rambam is just explaining what I just showed to you, that this golden altar, 1 minute, new share. All right, well, let's see. I don't know if you can see this. We'll see here. So the new altar, so this golden altar was here. And this, so the outer third of this whole thing was empty. There was nothing there. So in the inner third, this is 1/3 of it, was dedicated to the Holy of Holies where the ark was. 1/3 of it was dedicated where these three vessels were, the menorah and the face bread and the altar, and the outer third was empty. As we will continue, God willing, learning more, hopefully we will see this firsthand with the building of the Holy Temple now. Have a good day. Shalom Avracha. See you tomorrow at 8:15.